like a week before the fight, he goes, yo, you're fighting next week. I'm like, what? Strong men break as well. Does that make sense? And I know I'll break anyway as long as God's on my side.
Yes, people, we are in the cave. Rims, Greeny, myself, Braggs, and a special guest here today fighting on the MTGP card on the 22nd of June. That is very soon. And we have the one and only Hasib Bin Tareq.
Hasib Bin Tareq.
Hasib Bin Tareq. Sorry, bro. I got one more time.
That was a setup. Let me tell you why. Because he is not good with names. You need to watch the show. Every breaking it up.
Don't worry, after this fight, you guys will remember.
Yes,
I remember the name. Like Bilal Muhammad says.
That's my brother too.
No, respect. Thank you for coming down, bro.
No worries.
Yeah? So, what's going on? How's life? Tell us how's life, man. What's going on?
Life, same old, bro. Just training, working. You know what I mean? Just same usual stuff.
Yeah.
Preparing for this fight. I've been training for it since, they told me about it end of April.
Yeah.
I think end of April, start in May. Just been training since then, man. Just focused on that.
Okay. Yeah, wicked. So, how did this MMO, Muay Thai,
K1.
live, K1, just fighting career start? How did you get into it? Just from what age?
I started when I was 18.
Okay.
I walked into a gym called Five for Peace, right? And it's like a charity organisation. That's why I met Daniel Sam, my coach. And since then, I've just been training. And one day, Daniel just said, "Oh, you're fighting." Bro, no. Like a week before the fight, he goes, "Yo, you're fighting next week." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I'm like, "What the fuck?" He didn't tell me I'm fighting. Do you know what I mean? No, it's like a week before the fight, you're telling me I'm fighting. I'm like, alright, cool. I went and done my first interclub and stuff like that, and since then I've just been, just grinding, just doing it, and now I'm here, man. Yeah.
So what's it like getting into a fight camp genuinely? How do you go about your fight camps genuinely, from kind of the
ground up?
Yeah, the ground up.
How do you set your camp kind of thing?
Yeah.
So it depends. Usually it would be 8 to 6 weeks fight camp. Obviously, when you're in a fight camp, you don't want to focus on other stuff. For example, a lot of fighters, they have other stuff going on. For example, I have a business that I work on as well. So I haven't been able to do that while I'm in the fight camp because I have to give it my 100%. Otherwise, later on, if something goes wrong, you don't want to regret it. Does that make sense? So you just stay focused, train 2-3 times a day. Depends. You also do strength and conditioning 3 times a day. That's what I do. 3 times a week, I mean. So I would be training twice a day. That's standard.
Right.
I would also do 3 days a week strength and conditioning.
Yeah.
And just customize it depending on how you're feeling and how the training camp is going, things like that. Yeah, and obviously you work on certain things depending on who you're fighting as well. You work on certain game plans. You work on certain skills that you want to work on depending on who you're fighting. Yeah.
No, totally get it still.
Yeah.
Also, just quickly before these go in, nutrition. How does it work for you then in those times, food camps and nutrition, and do you how's weight and stuff did you fluctuate in weight? Does it do you find it hard to stay in a certain balance before weigh-ins and stuff?
I don't find it hard. It's not really that hard. I know a lot of other people that train with me, they find it a lot harder. I don't have that. But this fight camp might have been a bit different because obviously I haven't fought since November, so I was just, like I said, I was eating a little bit more. So yeah, I was a little bit heavier to start off, but it's the same old stuff, just had to cut a couple more kgs extra. That's about it.
Okay.
Nothing too crazy. Yeah.
How much do you normally cut for a camp, roughly?
I walk around at probably 64, heaviest, 65 maybe. So I cut down to 58.
Yeah.
So that's about what? 6 kg.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a decent weight cut though.
No, yeah, for real.
Yeah.
That's a decent weight cut.
So, tell me, what's the hardest thing about your training camp? As in, what is it? Is it the physical side, the mental side? Is it the discipline between it all? What's the hardest thing in just going through an actual general training camp? Is it your trainer? Because I've heard about Daniel Sam. You spoke about him earlier.
Yeah.
I heard he's a champ. He's a world champ for a reason.
Yeah.
So of course he's going to want to imply that mentality into his fighters. What's it like?
Yeah, Daniel. Listen, training with Daniel is not really hard. That's what I'm gonna say. You just obviously you train with him twice a day, and anyone that trains with him every day, even you know, like it's not everyone can do it. Do you know what I mean? Certain fighters even that train with us, they don't even train with Daniel 5 days a week, 6 days a week. Does that make sense? Because he pushes you mentally, physically, all the way to the end. Do you know what I mean? But other than that, training, you know, like I said, training twice a day.
Yeah.
Same old stuff, man. Hardest thing about my fight camp would be probably the physical side and the discipline to wake up in the morning and go training, you know what I mean, every day, especially when you've got other things going on. You have to make time for training. You have to put those aside and make time for training.
Sorry, but do you find that hard, waking up sometimes? And I ain't got training today. Because all of us, you train on roads, isn't it? So I'm just being like, after you feel a bit beat up from like,
I'm not training on the level of obviously
of course,
innit? So it's gonna be a bit different for me. But
no, it is hard. Trust me. No,
but even just
there's days where you just don't want to go.
Yeah.
And you find find that mental approach.
Yeah, like for example, I have this thing where as soon as my alarm goes off, I'll count to 3, 1, 2, 3, and I'll jump on my bed. If I don't do that, I'm not going to fall body sleep. So I have to do that. I have to push myself to do that. You know what I mean? Even if I wake up and just sit on my bed, just deep in life, like what the fuck am I doing?
It's a 3-second rule difference. Just jump out of it.
You have to.
I need to start that one. Start that. Be relaxed.
As soon as your alarm goes off, mentally just think 1, 2, 3. No matter what, how the fuck you're feeling, you have to get up.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
I hear it.
Yeah, just get up, and as soon as you get up, that's it. You've done the hardest part. Now just go training. You know what I mean? I think going to the gym is the hardest part. Once you start training, it's not. You know what I mean? It's calm.
Getting into the flow. Once you're in the flow, it's just the beginning. Just to rise
just
up.
pulling yourself off the bed and going to the training. That's hard.
But your coach is there as well, like you said, to make sure you're not relaxed.
And you see what it is? If I don't go training one day, Daniel will hold that against me for the whole week. Do you know what I mean?
Extra punishment in the gym then. So
extra punishment.
Don't even skip a session.
Extra punishment. It was just like, for example, if you had a bad day in sparring, he'd be like, oh, you should have come training last week. Then you would have, do you know what I mean? And then, it's always keeping you up there. Discipline, man.
What's it like fighting for MTGP? What's it like? Because I know you fought in other organisations, but what's it like fighting for them? Because you'll be fighting for them again on the June 22nd. So what's it genuinely like for fighting for them as an organisation and organisations just approaching you genuinely? Yeah,
well, MTGP is probably one of the biggest shows out there for Muay Thai and K1. So it's good exposure, you know what I mean? To be on that show, it's really good for any fighter. That's fine, because they get a lot more people watching them. They get a lot more exposure. Other than that, I think it's just the exposure, to be honest. For example, the bigger shows you fight on, the more people know you, and that's your value as a fighter, isn't it?
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
that's what it is. I just want to fight on bigger shows. I'll fight anyone. I swear to God, I'll fight anyone. In the UK, on one championship, my goal is to go to one championship. Okay. So, you know what I mean? Cool. I don't give a shit what I'm fighting. I'll be honest, bro. I'll just fight anyone.
If you were to get to that level, what rule sets would you rather fight under? Would you rather fight?
I don't mind. I'll fight both. I'll fight Muay Thai and K1. I'll fight kickboxing and Muay Thai. Okay. So anyone can get it, man.
Have you had any fights in the 4-ounce gloves in Muay Thai?
I haven't had fights. I've sparred with them, but I haven't had 4-ounce gloves fight yet. But
do you train Muay Thai often as well?
Yeah, I do both.
You do both completely.
Muay Thai and K1 are not that different. It's the pace that's a bit different. Like K1 pace is a bit higher. Like it's a faster pace. Muay Thai is a bit calmer. Obviously you can do elbows, clinch and knee and stuff like that. K1 you can't do that. That's the only difference. Other than that, like, we train with Daniel Sam, so Daniel's main background is K1, so he trains us mostly in K1. So I have a hybrid style. Like, I can do both K1 and Muay Thai. Does that make sense? I can keep up with the K1 guy, and I also can keep up with the kicks, like Muay Thai kicks and stuff like that. Because in Muay Thai, they throw a lot more kicks than they would throw in K1.
I see that when you use your kicks to set up your hands a lot. Your hands are very good. You got a lot of power in your hands. So dynamite over and stuff. I can't even lie. You had a good couple knockouts though. I've seen.
Yeah, my last, I think 5 or 6 fight was knockouts.
Who's your last fight? What's your last fight?
I think someone called Duncan McDormand from Knowsley Academy.
I didn't see that fight.
Knowsley Academy on Raw Combat.
Oh, okay.
Raw Combat. Yeah. I think he was quite well known before. He didn't fight for a while, and then he tried to come back and think, I'm gonna take this guy on mistake. Come on, man. That's a violation to you.
Is that how you take it? Do you hold grudges on your shoulders like that when fighters feel like they...
If you feel like you can just come there and take the piss, and if you feel like you can come there and, you think...
Why did you think he was taking the piss though?
He's not taking... Bro, how else are you going to see it? You haven't fought in 3 years, and you're coming to fight me, you're dumb.
but no disrespect, but Conor hasn't fought in a few years. What if someone like Conor McGregor coming back?
That's
no, I'm just saying, he's...
I'll fight Conor... Listen, I'll fight Conor McGregor. I don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? I'll fight anyone, but I'm just saying, to me, it's like...
Would you take that as a disrespect, though? Him, Conor, like, someone like that, even though he's got a credible... I don't know who you're talking about specifically, but I'm just saying, overall... Fighters are trying to come back, but I'm just saying, do you hold that as a grudge?
It's not even that he's coming back, that's a problem.
Okay.
I take it as you think you're on my level, that's a problem. Does that make sense?
Because he's had so much time off.
Yeah, like, you're not on my level. I've been grinding my ass off for the last however long, and you've been doing whatever, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? And you think now you can train for a couple of weeks and come back to fight me? Come on, man.
Yeah.
Don't make sense. Yeah.
Well, what do you think of your next opponent then? Because obviously I know he's been active, but he's coming back to MTGP for the first time in like a couple of years now.
Jamie Whelan?
Yeah, he's got a little bit of, he's got a little bit of a buzzer.
He's quite well known. He's fought quite a few top guys as well. He fought K1 Takeru, Takeru from One Championship. He fought him as well. To be honest, listen, he's not nobody special. End of the day, strong men break as well. Does that make sense? And I know I'll break anyone as long as God's on my side. I'll break anyone, man. And I'm confident. I mean, I'm looking for a knockout. Same old stuff.
Yes. So, like, if you're looking for a knockout, do you go in there with a game plan, looking at your opponents, the way your opponent fights, their fight style? Do you go in there and say, I'm going there to do what Mr. Tareq's going to do?
End of the day,
how do you do it? Like,
it's obviously you go in there with the game plan, right? You go in there, you kind of study the opponent to a certain extent, and you see what they do best and what they do not so best, and you work on the game plan depending on that. But anything can change in a fight. Does that make sense? So you have to be able to adapt and adapt to your environment. But you don't go in there thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna knock him the fuck out, because I think personally that's a bad mentality. Then you end up chasing the guy. Just relax, calm down. When the knockout comes, it'll come. Do you know what I mean? Like, for example, any of my knockouts that I've knocked out guys, I didn't go in there thinking I'm gonna throw that right hand and you're gonna get knocked out. I know if my right hand connects, it's lights out anyway. But it's one of those ones where you just have to set it up properly, be patient. Does that make sense?
You have a little setup where you throw a little feint and come straight over the top of it, and it lands. It's repetitive.
Clean. You have a clean left hook. You have a clean left hook. I've seen you. You knocked down a guy called Will Enright with a body shot. Like you've had and to get the body shot ones out of there shows that you.
It was I think 4-punch or 5-punch
combo. Yeah, it was a flurry, but that last body right that just sat him down. He said, I've had enough, and that's I totally get what you're saying from that. Still.
I still remember I faked the teep, and I went in and I threw a right body shots to headshots. Does that make sense? It wasn't like I was thinking I'm gonna go knock him out. It was just I just wanted to hurt him in a way. I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, that's just how it is.
So on that sense, you spar hard then? Like you fight hard? Does that mean I know you fight hard? I can see it from the clips. But does that mean you spar like when you spar your opponents? Do you like to shadow more and just kind of like get angles and ranges, or do you actually kind of like to spar actual hard?
No, obviously it just depends. You do have to do some hard sparring here and there, but it's not something you should do very often because, like, as a fighter, you have to think about longevity, and the more hits you take, the less longer you're going to be fighting. Yeah. Does that make sense? That's why a lot of old school fighters, they retire early because they think, I'm the man. They end up sparring very hard. Like, you have to be smart about it and do a lot more technical drills, technical sparring drills, instead of always sparring hard. Obviously, you have to spar hard, especially before a fight. You have to spar hard here and there. But yeah, I do spar hard, but not all the time. Yeah.
It's smart, man.
Yeah,
that's smart.
So like, has anything come from like sparring? Like, has anything like what in the gym stays in the gym? Like that, but is anything bad come from sparring? Like,
what do you mean?
So like obviously, as a fighter, you're gonna have your good days, you're gonna have your bad days. Days where you're the hammer, days where you're the nail. Like, how do you manage those days where you're hot and those days where you're not so sharp?
Obviously, when you're sharp, you feel good. Does that make sense? You feel like, like I've done a good job today. When you get messed up sometimes, when you do get, hit a couple times and you think, shit, do you know what I mean? It wasn't such a good day today. But, you have to think to yourself, like, it is what it is. Like,
of course.
You know what I mean? If you, like, for example, if I go to a gym and I'm the best guy there, I'm not going to train in the gym. Because why am I there for? How am I going to improve? Does that make sense? So you have to be in a gym where there's other fighters that's on your level or at least better than you that they can push you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course.
So just like I said, it happens, man. It's not
In terms of, I want to go back. In terms of your fight style, what fight style do you feel you bring to a fight? Like, what would you say?
Like I said, I'm a hybrid type of fighter. So I think I can do both. I can do both styles, like K1 style and Muay Thai style. It doesn't really matter to me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I've trained both. I've kind of adapted things from both styles and made it my own.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I can do both. If someone wanted to fight me Muay Thai right now outside the garden, I'll go fight them. You know what I mean? So doesn't matter, man.
Cool. No, I totally get it. Still.
Yeah.
This fight coming up on the 22nd. If you get that win, which I
will get that win.
Love the confidence. From that, what do you want out of that win? What are you looking for? What's the future have for you if you get that win there? What do you want from that?
I just want to fight guys with bigger names. Eventually, I want to end up on one championship, which I see myself going there, in the near future. Does that make sense? So it's just after this, whoever wants the smoke, basically. Do you know what I mean? Whoever wants it, they can get it.
So, like the way you done you done the road to MTGP, right?
I've done it before, yeah.
Right, yeah. So, would you do the same thing for one championship? Road to one championship, if they kind of
whatever it takes, to be honest. I don't. You know what I mean? Like I said, I will fight anyone and everyone. Even if tomorrow, for example, Takeru came and said, "Let's fight," I'll never say no to a fight. You know what I mean?
We'll take a fight, yeah?
I'll do the fight.
Did you hear that, Uncle Chowdhury?
You're Chatri. You know what I mean? Listen, he needs to find out about me.
Yes,
because where I'm from, from the Bangladeshi community, like I'm Bengali, right?
Right.
There's not a lot of fighters.
Do you speak Bengali?
I speak Bengali.
Bengali is the coldest sounding language of all time. Bengali, are you mad, fam? That is cold, man. After the tiger. It's cold. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. It's cold.
It's cold.
Sorry, bro.
But I think it's called Bangla, right? The language is called Bangla. So I think it's the sweetest language in the world. If you go on Google and search up which is the sweetest language in the world, it will come up as Bangla, I think, if I'm not wrong. So my people, there's not a lot of fighters. Nowadays, some popping up here and there, but still not anyone that's fighting at a very high level. So, you know, I want to put my people on. Yeah, man. Do you know what I mean? This is doing it for my people as well at the same time.
Do you find, obviously, because you're, there's not a lot of Bengali fighters, as you're saying, that your community kind of pushes you as well, and
right?
they get behind you.
No, I do get quite a bit of support from my community, which is good. You know, they push me to do better as well. Like sometimes don't get me wrong, it's pressure. Like for example, if someone's expecting something of you, obviously you're gonna have that pressure on you, right? But that pressure is what makes you better and stronger. Like, you know how they say, like, diamonds are formed under pressure. I mean, it's the same thing. So I don't see pressure as a bad thing. The more pressure you can take, the more successful you are as a man. That's just how I see it.
Yeah, no, totally. No, totally get you still, and that makes total sense. Man. Like, so, my last question from you, I don't know, you don't got any more, because my actual last question, like my main question for you now is like, what happens if you actually become a MTGP champion and actually end up on that one championship platform and end up with that one championship belt, and you go through that? What is going to be your overall message to the whole world? And literally, like you just said, to your people, what's that? What's like, again, like what I mean by that is, again, there's not a lot of people from your background and your upcoming, how you was brought up. What's your overall message to everybody?
The message I would say is, if I can do it, anyone can do it. Like when I started Muay Thai, when I started training, I was a bit asthmatic as well. So every time I would train, I couldn't breathe properly. I felt like I was gonna die. Does that make sense? And I came to this country when I was 15. I'm 25 now, so I've only been living here for the last 10 years. When I first came, I couldn't even speak English. Does that make sense? So if you see me and you think, oh, this guy's done this and done that, you should have seen me 10 years ago. Does that make sense? I was a nobody. I came from a different country. I didn't know the culture of this country. I didn't know how to speak the language. And yeah, I mean, I'm where I am now.
Did you ever get bullied for that?
People
know
did
how it is. England's very rough. England can be rough at times when they...
I would say no one bullied me, but they did look down on me. They did, You know how it is when you go to school, and it's normal. If I was back home and someone from this country went back home and they couldn't speak the language, I'll take the piss out of them as well. Does that make sense? It's just...
Where'd you grow up?
Bangladesh.
No, but as in, over here. So when you came over here, where was you living?
I live in Forest Gate to this day.
Okay. Oh, so the whole time in Forest
Gate? Yeah, East London basically. Yeah, so yeah, man. Just if I can do it, anyone can do it. Do you know what I mean?
Literally. And that's impressive. 10 in that space to the way you fluently speak.
Yeah, for example, 10 years ago, I would never have thought like, yeah, I'm gonna be here in my life, fighting professionally and you know, be where I am in my life. I would never have thought that, but you know, it's God's plan, I guess. Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
One question I want to ask, because you spoke about it earlier.
Yeah.
You said, obviously, Daniel Sam just came to you and said, you're fighting in a week. Yeah. How long was you actually training for before you died?
I was training for, I think I was training for like 6 months, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, but it wasn't even like serious training. I was just going there for fun, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was just going there for fun. I thought, yeah, this is cool. Obviously, I'll get smacked up here and there. I was a beginner, right? And it was still fun. I liked it. I wanted to just get fit. I just started off doing it because I wanted to learn how to kind of defend myself and get fitter in a way, because I was doing some madness back in the day. In a different way. So, in a different way. I'm not saying I was involved in no gangs or something. You know what I mean? I was doing other stuff. But yeah, so I thought, yeah, this would be a good thing for me to start. And I started going to Fight for Peace, met Daniel Sam, and then 6 months later he was, yo, you're fighting. I was like, you know, fuck it, man, let's go. Do you know what I mean? And then I've done my first interclub. Yeah, since then, Daniel's, I swear to God, you know, with Daniel, yeah, if you're training with him, he will take the piss out of you. Like, bro, to this day, me and Daniel, we just always cuss each other about certain stuff, innit? Do you know what I mean?
You and Grimshaw got a relationship like that, innit?
Yeah, Grimshaw's like that.
Grimshaw's like that. I see you, he's always getting at you, man. That's a real thing for trainers, right?
I'm
no, but you know what's funny?
Yeah.
I didn't, for the first 3 years of knowing Daniel, I didn't speak to him. Like, I didn't speak to him much because I was like, oh, like, obviously there was a language barrier a little bit, but at the same time, I think I was a bit intimidated by him.
Massive! That's a giant, bro!
Hey, listen.
He could have been a character like Game of Thrones, you know, one of them big giants, bro. He's massive,
listen, like
bro.
I said before, yeah, Daniel was my hand. Daniel Sam. Listen. Message to Daniel Sam. Hey, message to Daniel Sam, yeah. Daniel, listen, if it was my hand, bro, it'd be peak for you. But luckily, God made you very tall and fucking big, you know what I mean? But yeah, man, I'm telling you, training with Daniel, I think it's one of the best things that happened to me, man. Seriously, I think he's changed my whole outlook to life and changed my whole mentality to life. Do you know what I mean? So,
where can people find Daniel's son?
We opened a new gym in Ilford,
okay.
right next to Ilford Sainsbury's. We opened a new gym. It's called Blind Diamond Gym.
Okay.
If you guys are around that area, you should definitely check it out. It's a very beautiful gym, nice. You know, it's gonna be one of the best gyms in the country, if not in the whole world. I'm telling you right now, because Daniel comes from a very, very, crazy background. He used to train at Mike's gym. Mike's gym, if you guys don't know, the biggest kickboxers, Bajahari, Gohan Saki, those guys, they came from Mike's gym. Does that make sense? And Daniel used to train with them. So he's got all the experience and all the knowledge that you're looking for in a trainer.
Yeah. So, did you know that going into?
I didn't know none of that, bro.
Yeah, you just.
I didn't know none of that.
So
I didn't even know who Daniel was. I didn't even know what kickboxing was or boxing. I didn't even know the difference between it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But yeah. No, man.
Have you obviously Muay Thai K1? Have you dabbled in any other martial arts?
I've been doing a bit of boxing. Obviously, I do boxing as well. Not compete on it, but compete in it. But I do boxing. I've got a boxing coach as well, Abdul Yassin.
I was going to ask you if you've got boxing, because like I said, I can see your hands, you've got very good hands.
Yeah, I do a bit of boxing as well. I've done a bit of jiu-jitsu. I've tried wrestling once. I got thrown so hard, ended up on the other side of the room. I was like, fuck this shit. I was like, fuck this, it's not for me, man.
That's the gritty, man. That's the gritty, man.
But you know what I would like to do? I would like to do a bit of wrestling as well later in the future. I would want to train a bit of wrestling as well. I think wrestling's very important.
Yeah,
like you can't call yourself a complete fighter if you just train one discipline and not have the other. You know what I mean? It's like a puzzle.
Okay.
I think with wrestling, what it creates is a good sense of balance.
Very bad. You've got to understand a lot of balance. Correct? Like it's a lot of
like a lot of leverage and carrying people's weight. So it's a lot of balance. I think it's one of those things.
Yeah, wrestling. I think wrestling is, if anyone, like for example, if someone was to come to me and say, they don't want to compete, what should they do? I would say do boxing and wrestling. Do you know what I mean? Or do Muay Thai and wrestling. Because those things are very practical. And wrestling makes you hella strong, bro. Wrestlers are fucking strong. Right now.
It's that tendon strength.
Telling you right now.
So what, can we see maybe an MMA fight from you some point?
Listen, I would never say never, innit? Do you know what I mean?
You never know. Conor McGregor earlier, bro. We know where he's going.
Listen, I would never say never, man, because you never know. I might one day decide, fuck it, I'm gonna take this MMA shit seriously and end up doing an MMA fight. You never know, man. Wherever the calling is, I'll go there. You know what I mean? I never thought I'd be fighting this, so you never know where I'll be in the next 10 years. You know what I mean?
And you're only 25.
I'm 25, yeah.
You're very young.
Yeah, well.
No, in that sense of the fighting world, trust me, you're very young. You've got a lot to learn.
I feel old though. You know what I mean? I feel old.
You feel old because you've been doing it from 18. And it's a discipline that someone like Daniel Sam puts you through that makes you feel old. You know what I mean? That's the truth.
Facts,
you know what I mean? But no, man, you are young and that's the truth, man. And you've got a bright career ahead of you, man. And I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
I believe Rims and I think Greeny, they wish you best.
Definitely.
We can't wait. We're going to be ringside, so we can't wait to see you. We'll try and find you on the night as well.
Definitely. Come and find me on the night. We'll talk, man.
Man, definitely, man. And listen, as much as enjoy the fight as well. I think as much as you have the pressure.
For example, if you go into a fight, and you are so tense you can't fight, you're not gonna have a good performance. I think the best people that perform the best have a balance of, I need to win this fight, but at the same time I'm gonna have fun. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah, because if you're tense and just relax. End of the day, it's a fact. What's the worst thing that can happen?
Of course.
You're not. I mean, you can die, but you're not. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But yeah, end of the day, it's a fact, man. And that's what we do every day. So it's nothing different. You know what I mean?
Oh man, respect. Thanks for coming down.
Thank you for having me, man.
Mr. I'm gonna get this right? Hasib
Bin Tareq.
Bin Tareq. Hasib Bin Tareq, thanks for coming down, brother. Much appreciated, man. Love, man. And good luck on the 22nd. See, you know, it's MTGP, you know, Muay Thai, K1, boxing, all happening, one event. Hey, don't miss out. Grab your tickets. Kombat Kingz, we are out.